You did this endless movie that you kept shooting as younger people, and
That's right.
like for 6 years you would work on this film. I read about that.
All through college, yeah.
It had a
myself and
tragic
Michael.
ending, though. And I heard all the footage, though, from the film fell off.
Oh, that's
the
right,
cliff
Michael.
and burned up. And when
There's no way for anyone to see it because it did, unfortunately, go over a cliff and burst into flames at the bottom of the cliff. Yeah. We were terrified when that happened.
This is my first day working at the Truth Teller. I'm so excited to be saying that. When I was a kid, I didn't want to be Superman. I wanted to be Clark Kent. Because to me, Clark is the real superhero. He's saving the world too by working at a newspaper. And that to me is much more noble and much more achievable. And I love that. And so that's why I'm so happy to be finally here at my very own Daily Bugle. Or, no, Daily Planet is the Daily Planet. Daily Bugle is Spider-Man. They're both journalists, though. That's kind of cool. All right, I'm going to run up because I don't want to be late for my first day and make a bad impression. Up and away. I have a lot in common with Superman, too. We each have our kryptonite, for example. For Superman, it's, well, kryptonite, obviously. For Clark Kent, it's Lois Lane. And for me, I guess my kryptonite is my love of journalism. From fact-checking to developing sources over whiskey in a smoky bar, that's my weakness.
Welcome to the Actor's Side today. Oh my gosh, he's done so much in movies, stage, and television now in a terrific new series, The Paper, which is basically a spin-off of The Office. It's on Peacock. And so many other things. Here to talk about this is Domhnall Gleeson. Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Welcome. You know, I love The Paper.
Great.
It's so fun. You know, when you're doing something that is basically a spin-off of The Office, as they say it is, although it seems like several years ago, that's usually a spin-off follows right away.
Yeah.
But it's not always easy to follow something like that. And in the mockumentary format here of a small town Toledo truth-telling newspaper.
Yeah.
But it succeeds.
I think so. I mean, I think that Greg and Michael were very clear about how much carryover they wanted from the original show, and the carryover they wanted was essentially, it's the same camera crew, and Oscar is there. He's the kind of window into it, and then everything else is new. So I think it was the right amount of link to have where we could preserve our independence as our own thing and our own sort of vibe. It's got a different vibe to The Office, and yet take across some of the stuff that people loved about that show, which is a phenomenal show, obviously.
You know, through your career, I didn't think of you as that you would be somebody starring in a comedy series, half-hour comedy series in America with an American accent and everything. Yeah. You do all kinds of different things. That's not something I thought was on my bingo card here.
Wasn't on mine either, to be honest with you. But like, I grew up loving comedy and like really loving it, and I think that was the thing. The first play that I did was a very, very funny play. That was my first job. It was a Martin McDonagh play, and weirdly, a couple of the things that I've been most known for back home over the years were comedic things, including a sketch show that I wrote on with a writing partner of mine and lots of other people. That weirdly kind of follows me around in Ireland in a funny sort of a way. And I think that weirdly those sketches were the things that Michael and Greg saw that I think made them think that I could do this.
Yeah, well, you would think, that however they saw them, you know. And well,
that's the thing. I mean, there's one of them that we wrote, which is me. It's very, very juvenile, in the back of a car, and you think that he needs to wee. He needs to pull over to go to the bathroom. Yeah. And he's convinced by other people in the car to go in a bottle, like a Coke bottle, and it turns out it wasn't a number one, and it's an absolutely gross sketch, absolutely gross. But I think that was the one that they saw, that they decided.
Wow, sounds good to me.
It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
We should get that, guys.
It's not hard to get. It's out there. It's really good. But I wrote that with my friend years and years ago, and never thought. I mean, you think that's gonna, and then weirdly it just does the rounds every now and again on social media, and it also got me this job 15 years later, which is wild how it works.
Amazing. Yeah. Is this the friend where you did this endless movie that you kept shooting as younger people? And
that's right.
Like for 6 years you would work on this film. I read about that.
All through college,
It had a tragic ending, though.
Well, no, it had quite a happy ending. When I got married, my friends all got together and sort of made up an ending for the film that never had an ending and filmed it and sort of gave it to me on my wedding day.
And I heard all the footage though from the film fell off.
Oh, that's right,
cliff.
Michael. Yes, yeah, no, yes,
and burned
yes.
up and when
There's no way for anyone to see it because it did, unfortunately, go over a cliff and burst into flames at the bottom of the cliff. Yeah. We were terrified when that happened. It was very sad.
That would be. Yeah. I would go. I don't know what I'd do, but it wouldn't be pretty.
It's a pity, but it is lost. It is lost footage, unfortunately.
Yeah. Now the first job, you called it the first job, but the Martin McDonagh play is that Lieutenant of Inishmore. You won a Tony nomination for that.
That's right. Yeah. So I did it on the West End first when I was 19, and it was almost my first audition, maybe, and just started out of the gate so lucky, and then Martin took me from that production and brought me over to Off-Broadway and Broadway with Kerry Condon and David Wilmot and Peter Garrity, all these great actors. And it was wonderful. It was wonderful.
And he's good luck for you because he's great. He's sat here before. I think he's got a new film coming out in the fall.
I can't wait. Yeah.
So talented, that guy. But he won an Oscar for a live-action short called Six Shooter.
Yeah.
That your father, the great Domhnall Gleeson, and you were in. And it won an Oscar, your very first film work.
That was that's right. And obviously I was livid because as far as I was concerned, I'd worked with Martin first. I had done the play, so I was like, hang on a second, why is he the lead? And I was like, it's because he's absolutely amazing. I was like, I don't know, that's fair enough. That was a great short. And I mean, Martin's as a filmmaker has just. I mean, he's one of the great people working now, he's kind of extraordinary.
I mean, so amazing and what he's done for Ireland and Irish.
Absolutely. But he's also, again, that's that thing of he is so funny. His films are so funny, and that was my first show was one of his plays, which is so funny. But there's always, I think, a huge amount of heart in what he does as well, and that's, that's the stuff that stays with you, is the emotion of it is kind of incredible.
Did you get asked this, but did you just always want to be an actor, follow in the footsteps? Your brother, Brian's also an actor.
Yeah, Brian. Brian's wonderful. And I think Brian seemed to be an actor from the very beginning. He seemed to have a facility with it from the start. And I was not the same. I went to college for writing and directing. And that's what I was doing, and making films with my friends and doing all that sort of stuff. That was my big plan, was to be a writer and director. And just sort of fell into it in a very, very lucky way.
Yeah, well, I'll say, because you've gotten to do such a wide variety of stuff, but a lot of people, not a whole lot of actors get to be in Harry Potter and Star Wars.
Yeah, I know. I feel good about that. This
is like a dream for people.
It was. And I got Harry Potter first, and I had just loved the books so much growing up that it was I was absolutely, that was a dream come true stuff.
You're Bill Weasley.
That's right. I just got in right at the end. I got the last two movies. I got
Was that fun to do, to walk into that? That was so huge at that point as a book and a movie.
Absolutely. It was as big as it could be. And look, you can get lucky and unlucky with how you get or don't get roles. I mean, I was born to be a Weasley. I just looked if I hadn't got cast, there would have been...
If you hadn't got cast, that casting director would be fired.
It would have been... No, I don't think they would have been fired. I think I would have just stopped working. It was kind of wild that I... and that I got in just under the wire. That character hadn't been in the books before, or hadn't been in the films before, rather, and just had this sort of small role in the last two. And I was so thrilled to be in it. And then it provided me this great little window between when I was cast and when the film came out, where I got seen for a load of parts that I wouldn't have been seen for otherwise, because they didn't know how small my part was going to be in the film. They're like, maybe he's going to be huge.
And they said, Harry Potter.
Yeah, exactly.
We got to get him now.
Yeah. Get him in now. And I was like, yes, it's a large role. But I got in for a load of stuff in the meantime that ended up working out really well for me. So it was kind of a very important time.
Wow, that's so cool. Yeah. And then Star Wars, you're evil. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
I think fair. Is that how you would describe? You did 3 Star Wars films. So.
Yeah, and again, just brilliant to step into sort of a world that is so iconic, a little bit scary, but all you can do is turn up and try to have fun, because those films have like energy and full fun at their center. So we just have to try and bring it.
General Hux is a great role.
It was great. I really, really enjoyed it. And I met up with JJ recently and was chatting to him about it. It was so good. I hadn't seen him in a little bit. So, yeah, I had an absolute blast. Like, if you're not having a blast making those films, what the hell are you doing? Like,
I know.
Have to enjoy them.
Kind of like, playtime,
Totally, especially because they built all the sets, because they did all that stuff. Everything was sort of there. There was so little green screen, apart from obviously like space. We didn't go to space, spoiler. But everything else was sort of built, and I thought that was, it was so exciting.
This was that great, I don't know, not reboot or whatever, but the Star Wars trilogy, the new one, The Force Awakens, started with The Force Awakens, which was huge.
Ginormous,
Just became such a hit again. And
I think it was hard to know how it was going to go, but I think he did just find some of that, the not childlike or anything like that, but just some youthful enthusiasm that is just spilling through that film. And and that's what he's like on set. So it was great.
Yeah. And then, another key moment for you, I believe, is Alex Garland.
For sure.
Yeah, because you've worked with him, Dread, and also, obviously...
I did Ex Machina with him.
Ex Machina is the one that...
And he also wrote he also adapted Never Let Me Go, the Kaz
which is great.
Thing. That was the first thing I worked with him on. And again, like a wonderful cast. So I've worked with him 3 times, and, I'm really eager to work with him again now that I'm a little bit older. I think he is making some of the best cinema in the world, I think.
Yeah,
he
it's really interesting.
special.
A lot of the stuff that he talks about and other things you've done dealing with AI and, and
very
what's
prescient.
going on today. And
he's interested in the right stuff, Alex. I think that's the thing, isn't it? Like some of that stuff, and, people talk about Black Mirror also being incredibly prescient.
That was another one that you did where you played another worldly.
Sort of a droid of himself, or kind of a replicant of himself. But I think that like those people, if you're interested in the right stuff, it will always be relevant. It will always be modern in that sort of a way. And so with the AI stuff, Alex was very prescient. But actually, the questions underneath that are more important. And I think that's why it lasts as a really good film.
Yeah. So the paper, you have a great Midwestern accent, by the way. Better than most Midwesterners I know.
I worked really hard on it, so with a great accent coach.
So perfect
for
Ohio, and, when that you immediately know this guy.
I'm delighted. Thank you. Yeah, Tim Monick is an incredible dialect coach, and I worked with him, and I traveled around Ohio for a little bit. And I guess the idea is that nobody notices in an ideal world, like just doesn't notice that you're not from there.
I don't think if they don't know you're Irish or whatever, if they just seen you for the first time in this show, which I'm sure some people are.
For sure,
they'll just think, this guy's like...
you want to be part of the world, that sort of way. And we also have a couple of great actors who are over from Europe in it. Sabrina is Italian, Tim Key, and then Tim, exactly, and then Tim Key is so funny in it as well. He's one of my favorite stand-ups and writers. He's so funny, and he's from England, and so it would have been a bit much for an Irishman to turn up and try and turn this paper around. I think he wanted it to be a homegrown hero sort of a thing,
In Ireland, are they having the same problem with newspapers and journalism?
Absolutely. I mean, there's nowhere in the world.
It's so sad. I'm not saying that as a whatever you want to define me as, but a journalist a lot of the time. Is like, I see it all the time. It's just fading away. And I worked at a paper, the LA Times, which is a big paper, which is now a mere shell of itself. It really
they had to move building, they had to do all of that sort of stuff. But I think that's at the heart of the show, is the meeting of romance and reality, and how important it is to acknowledge both. As a person, and in your chosen, if you're lucky enough to work in a profession that means something to you, that when you go to work, the work itself matters, not just the paycheck. That's already rare. You're already very, very lucky if you're in that position. But the ability to remain romantic about it, while also recognizing that there are huge pressures on every aspect of journalism at the moment. It is a small thread in the show, but it really matters to the people who make the show. It seems to have mattered to the journalists who have seen the show, which makes me very, very proud, because I do think it's a good thing to talk about and to be positive about and optimistic about, even in the middle of all this. And so it's been I'm very proud of that aspect of the show.
Yeah, it's really scary what's going on now. Even the proposed merger with Paramount and Warner Brothers, and you have the our defense secretary saying they can't, David Ellison, who runs Paramount, can't get his hands on Warner Brothers because they have CNN fast enough, because they want to change, they want to control.
It's terrifying.
This show shows a guy, Ned, your character, who comes in, who I think loves his job, is enthusiastic and key about it, even in the darker of times.
Yes, I think that's the only. Yeah, I think that's the only way that he can make a difference is by turning up and saying, "No, we can. We can change things. We can make, in a small way, we can make our town better by bringing some truth into it, and by not, by not sort of following the nefarious paths that often happen, like the pressures of journalism." And I love that. I think that it's like that energy is so important in the real world, and then but hard to find. And then I think to bring it into a show like that just gives it heart. I think it's hard to fake heart. I think you can sniff it, but I think this show has it.
Oh yeah, and you're walking in to an existing place with all these wonderful characters there, totally suspicious of you in every way. Who is this guy coming in? And you're just the real deal, which makes it, you're the Jimmy Stewart. Somebody.
That's definitely, I think that's definitely an influence on it. And I think, in that way that he was effortless, seemingly effortless or whatever like that, I think Ned has to have some of that about him. But he's also, his ambition is larger, and his optimism is larger than his skill when he joins, and larger than his experience. And I think that's where the comedy is over the course of the season, you realize that he is the right person because he has the right attitude, but he's learning on the job as well, which I think
he is as they all go along. I love like the finale or whatever you want to call it of the first season, the big awards show and all of that, and he's doesn't think he's going to win or whatever.
Well, he's pretending he doesn't care, which I love, or he's convinced himself that he doesn't. That's my favorite thing in that last episode, was finding this common thread with the writers, where it was like he's pretending to himself that he doesn't care about the awards, but he really does. And he's pretending to himself that he doesn't care about this person he works with, but he really does.
Yes.
And by the end of it, he realizes that he loves both, and that's a problem, which is great.
There looks like there's a little romance that may be coming.
Yeah, I think it's good. That's a problem for both of them.
Yeah.
What they love about each other to begin with is that they both care about their job and they think that they can make a difference.
Right.
Then they love that about the other person, and then I think they both start to almost love the other person. And whether that can all work together, it's like a weird throuple that they're trying to set up, but it's kind of hard to do.
Did you do a lot of research once you got this job? I mean, serious research, even though it's a mockumentary comedy series, did you go to newspapers and check it out?
And I think that you do that for a couple of reasons. It may not be absolutely necessary, but in your life, do you want to have met interesting people, gone to interesting places and found out new things? Of course you do. Right. And I do think it expands your ability to just be in the world. So I traveled around Ohio a little bit.
Oh, you actually went to Ohio?
Yeah, I went to Cincinnati and hung out at a couple of newspapers there. I went to Toledo and hung out there. And I went to the college and talked to people from the college and the people who ran the college newspaper.
Oh, that's cool.
Because that would have been Ned's background, really, was the college newspaper. He's not worked in journalism since. That's the skill set he's bringing, is the college.
He knew a lot about toilet paper.
Yeah, he knows more about toilet paper than he does about newspapers.
Different paper.
Yeah, exactly. But he's romantic about both, and I think that's good. I did. And it was great. It was great to talk to people of all different ages. See where the enthusiasm was, see why people are still going into this.
That's what I'm interested in. If you're going to a college and they're still enthusiastic, because people are consuming, and particularly younger people, consume their news in such a different way than,
I think the numbers are, whatever, I don't know if I qualify as an old timer yet, but the numbers in terms of where people get their news is pretty overwhelmingly social media now.
Yeah.
In a way that is shocking in terms of when you think about what a verified source
they get it on
means,
TikTok.
where you're getting it. Yeah, I'm listen, we're just going to have to try and find a way to make all that stuff matter and dependable. You know what I mean? But I think real journalism will always matter. It just depends where it is.
Right. I hope so. But to see all these. Look, I'm a film critic here, and it's a good job here, but I just read all the time all these smaller or even mid-level newspapers in places are firing all their critics, all the people that made that, and it's hurting the film industry. You talk to people with independent movies. You've made many independent movies. They say we need that local touch, and it's going away.
Yeah, and you need people. You know, like in an ideal world, film criticism is coming from people who really have an interest in film,
well,
and
not an
interest in being famous or just creating a profile. That the film is something they care about deeply, and if that disappears, I think everyone's sort of fucked.
Yeah, it's sad. Although I know some critics that don't care about film.
Yeah, I think
they go. You know,
I think
shocking.
that's true too.
You walk in there and go like, how can you do this job? You know, really, I mean, you're coming in wanting to hate this, and
that's not ideal. And I think, you know, there is a sort of a checks and balances thing required for every aspect of every industry in terms of like making sure that the important stuff is being kept at the top.
Exactly.
And that's true of being an actor or working in film or TV or whatever like that, and true of everything else as well.
Before we go, I've got to ask you about a couple of things I believe you've done. I know you've done.
Mm-hmm.
The Sundance Film Festival had the Incomer.
Yeah.
That will be coming out.
So like that's an independent film. That's a smaller film. It's a comedy again. I think it's brilliantly made. It's a first-time filmmaker, but it's got Gail Rankin, Grant O'Rourke, and working closely with them was brilliant, and I'm really proud of the film. I think it's got beautiful heart, and I think people will like it.
So does The Incomer have a distributor yet?
Yes, it's with Sumerian, and it's going to be out later this year in theaters, I think.
But they're new, and we need all kinds of new distributors.
And they're back in independent film properly, so it's very exciting. Yeah.
And then the great, and I know him, I go to Telluride every year, and there's even a theater named after him, the Herzog.
Yeah.
The great Werner Herzog, and you have done Bucking Bastards.
Well done. It's a risk every time. Yeah, Bucking Bastard. Yeah, I'm so excited to see that. I think that I've been lucky to work with like some genuine masters over the years, which is like, what a great thing, and what a great thing to have been a part of their canon, and getting to hop onto that ship is just, I mean, what a dream. And they shot it in Dublin. You should have seen how excited every actor in Ireland was about Werner Herzog making a film there. It was just, the place was abuzz, and it was great, and he did not disappoint. I'm really excited for the film.
It's just, it's so good he's doing this kind of film too, because he's been doing so many documentaries.
Which are also wonderful. I mean, he's so skilled at that, but no, it was wonderful to see him back making this sort of film, and it is going to be unusual and great, and the Maras are going to be brilliant.
Yeah, both of them, Kate Mara and Rooney Mara, are starring.
For their first time working together.
Together, yeah.
Yeah, and I got to see what they were doing up close, and it's pretty flippin' cool.
I can't wait. Yeah. This is great. We've got those to look forward to, and the good news is the paper got renewed even before it went on the air.
Yeah, we just finished. We wrapped yesterday on season 2.
On season 2, you just wrapped. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything to tell us before we go?
I think it'll be funnier, and I think it'll have more heart, and I think funny and heart was what I liked about the first season, but I think there's more of both in this second season, so I'm very, very excited about it.
Fantastic. Well, it's on Peacock. You can watch it now, and NBC as well. It plays on too. So this is Domhnall Gleeson. Thanks for joining us on The Actor
Really
Side.
appreciate it.
Thanks, man.